I love that last bit. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and connections, we are back in the studio. Oh, it's an emotional day. We're actually recording the opening episode to Season 6. Let me say that slowly. Season 6 of the Foy and Jones Show. This time it's going to be really special because in every single episode we are going to be reaching out to you, talking to you, and we're going to be inspiring our stars of the future. And that's what that banner's all about. It's about reaching out, making a difference, and getting the next generation into our sectors. And today, to launch the show, we got some amazing people in the studio. Of course, producer Charlie's back in the house.
Hey-o!
Charlie Hooler, rock star, videographer, podcast producer, all-round top fella. Great to have you back, Charlie. Great to be working with you. And we have, from Foy and Jones Recruitment, we have got our brand director, Holly Louise Spring. How you doing, Holly?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm very good. Much better that you drove us here. We arrived early. We wasn't late. Charlie was speechless. Look, I was actually downstairs in a pre-podcast meeting. How posh does that sound?
Very.
A pre-podcast meeting, ready to go. No messages. Where are you? Your guests are here. We were here. We're ready to go. And we've got a very special guest sitting next to you, Holly, haven't we?
Haven't we, girl?
We're welcoming Taylah Jenkins to the podcast. How you doing, Taylah?
I'm good, how are you?
Oh, Taylah, I'm absolutely fantastic. So, this episode, we will get to know the guests and we'll be talking about what to expect from Season 6. Charlie, you can probably see by the props I've brought, you know, we're going to have a little football catch-up because it's been a while since I've been in the studio and lots of things have happened in the world of football. We're then going to come on to some more poignant subjects because, like it or not, the R word of redundancy is back in our sector, and we've been pioneering some real one-to-one redundancy support and career sessions. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail. Then we're going on to the doing the right thing, and it's a message to employers and hiring managers in our sector, something Holly's put together about why should I work for you? What are you offering? How are you going to treat me? What's the job seeking experience going to be like? And we'll wrap that up, leaving some passionate and positive advice to the next generation. And Charlie, every episode, we're going to get every guest involved, every one of our VIP guests. They're going to give and share 3 words of advice. So that's what the show's going to be about. Few catch-ups for people. Last time I sat in the studio, according to my health check yesterday, Charlie, I had the full MOT. I'm 48 years of age, or am I 48 years young, Holly? What would you say? Can't be nice.
Okay, 48 years young.
48 years of age. If I take the hat off, I look old. If I keep putting the hat on, I look younger, apparently. But I did my health check, and sadly, I've gained a couple of stones. But my cholesterol level is okay, so that's good. But my alcohol consumption is probably embarrassing. So I'm a little bit bigger. I'm a little bit more. I've got a little bit more alcohol in my body than we last in the studio. But 2 important things to talk about, Charlie. When I was last sitting in the studio, this football club were a championship team. They are now a Premier League team. And we are in 6th place in the Premier League. My little Fulham are in 6th place in the Premier League. But Charlie, we're looking up to a certain club from North London. How are you feeling about Arsenal season?
I liked it a little bit more when winning the league was a joke, because now everyone thinks we've got to actually go and do it. But I'm so happy. I love to see my favourite club play in the way that they like to.
And I'm going to say it because I want to. You were quite lucky nicking that win against Fulham, to be fair.
When you came to us?
Yeah, I mean, we were 1 up.
We worked hard, man. I was there. We worked hard for it.
Yeah, I mean, it was proper Arsene Wenger time, wasn't it? It was we're going to play till Arsenal get the winner. But look, I mean, I never dreamt I would be going to the Brighton Fulham fixture, which is the last fixture I attended, with us in 6th and 7th place respectively in the Premier League. And I know I said I wouldn't bring football into it early, Holly, but I have brought football into it early. So I've just moved the script around a little bit. You enjoyed the Brighton Fulham match, didn't you?
Yeah, I did a little bit. I've got a little soft spot for Brighton in my heart now.
I thought you say soft spot for Fulham.
Sorry, no. For Brighton.
Fulham's just around you, isn't
yeah,
it?
like I understand what's happening with Fulham because I'm told about it continually, whether I want to be or not.
Is that a good thing? Taylah, you like football, don't you?
I do now.
Yeah, you do now. But your other half is a fan of Liverpool, is that right?
Yes, he is. So that means by default I am also.
How's he feeling this week?
Oh, he didn't really want to talk about it, did he?
Yeah, okay. He didn't want to talk about it. All right, well, look, we are going to come back to football a little bit later and we'll just talk about sort of where we see the season ending, Charlie, and where it's going to go. But let's talk about our guests. So, Holly, welcome back to the studio. You're more of a podcast veteran. You're a pioneer in the early days of the Foy and Jones show. You've stepped aside to let our producer extraordinaire take over, but we got you in for a few episodes. But your role's changed somewhat in the Foy and Jones world, hasn't it? It's slightly more exciting and slightly more creative.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's adapted. Let's say that.
Brand director.
Yeah.
So looking at branding, looking at client relationships, looking things. How's that going? 'Cause it's been a couple of months now.
Yeah, it's all right. I think we've tackled some quite big projects early on. We've got a whole new plan in place for a new website, which will launch hopefully in the next couple of months. We've put together some kind of key branding stuff, which I know a lot of our kind of connections are picking up on, which is nice to see. Just creating a more kind of cohesive vision.
Yeah, I mean, rather than me just doing stupid videos of me talking randomly, there's as well as doing them, because I don't never want to let them go because they're quite dear to my heart. There's a lot more branding and positioning around our videography and marketing of the adverts, how we're positioning ourselves online and offline. It looks really good. The advert we had in one of the trade presses, it stood out, and that attention to detail, I think makes a difference. So. What's next in the brand director remit? What's coming next?
We will shortly be announcing our charity partner of the year.
Oh, that's exciting.
That'll be exciting. Obviously, the website will actually launch, which will be a nice big moment to keep everything tied in together. I mean, they're like the key things. They're the big boys.
They're the key messages. And I've got new business cards, which I keep forgetting.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, okay.
That's a good one, isn't it?
But let's move on. But as you can guess, Charlie, pink is playing a part in the new branding. We're looking slicker, we're looking sexier, and we're on season 6. So season 6 means we're going to bring in a whole array of guests across these 25 episodes. Our first guest, Taylah, new signing to Foy and Jones, been a breath of fresh air. Biggest compliment I can give you, Taylah, is you've been here. We're going to say 2.5 weeks.
Yeah,
we'll say 2.5 weeks. Feels like you've been here 2.5 years. You just breezed in with that Aussie personality, and I'm going to get this right, okay? You are from Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not from Brisbane.
No.
You're not from Summer Bay, because that was a TV show.
Yeah.
You're from Hervey Bay.
Harvey Bay.
Harvey Bay.
Spelt like Hervey.
Hervey Bay,
Harvey.
said like Harvey.
Yeah.
Why don't you just take a little bit of time, if you don't mind sharing, telling us about your adventures and how you arrived, not just in the studio, but in England. It's a great story.
Yeah.
Tell the listeners, Taylah, come on.
Well, I think I was about 21 when I thought, what has better weather than Australia than England? So off I trotted, found myself here as a nanny after working with children for a few years. And the adventure began then. I travelled around Europe. I worked in hostels and just did lots of different things. And then met a man and been back and forth, and now I'm settled here.
In Sussex by the Sea.
In Sussex by the Sea, yes, glamorous.
And absolutely, already a hit with the people in our business, already a hit with our clients, already popular.
Just happy to be here.
Yeah, just happy to be here. Just a great carefree attitude to life, and something which I think is really infectious. But look, who'd have dreamt? 2.5 weeks later, you're in your first podcast, you're part of the team, you're part of the show, you met that superstar, and that's what we want to do in season 6. We want to bring people's real life experience to life, and actually show what stands them out in an overcrowded market of job seekers, an overcrowded market of professionals, in industries which, dare I say, Holly, are struggling to attract talent. Because, if you're a youngster now, you want to be a YouTuber.
Yeah, it's not very glamorous.
You want to be an influencer. Like you.
Like me.
Yeah. You want to be an influencer. Do you want to take my career path? Do you want to take your career path? Do you want to go uni? Do you care about uni? And I think showcasing different stories, sending messages of inspiration are going to make a massive difference. So, Taylah, we'll be using your journey. Your journey in Foy and Jones is something which others can reflect on, others can be part of. And we do something very special at the Foy and Jones Recruitment Group. We change people's lives. That's what you're going to be doing. We're going to be changing people's lives for the better. What else have we got to expect from season 6, Holly? We've got big guests, haven't we?
We've got some nice lineup on the guests, yeah.
We've got a VIP guest list growing by the day. Charlie, we're getting out and about. This is the best recording studio in the world. Not just in the south of England. It's the best recording studio in the world. But we're past pandemic, we're past lockdown, we're going to get out and about, we're going to be recording the show from some amazing locations in the UK. I don't want to give too much away, but it's going to be flagship showrooms. It's going to be football grounds. There's going to be recordings on the beach. There's going to be lots of different ways that we're going to bring the show to life. If you're a guest and you want to get involved, yeah, we can come to you. You can come to us. And it's a great pleasure to be in. At season 6, we're going to make it bigger. We're going to make it better. And we're going to send that powerful message to inspire our stars of the future. That's what it's all about. Welcome to the Foy and Jones Show. This is season 6, episode 1.
Life-changing recruitment for the KBB, builders merchant and construction industries. Creative social content, specialist knowledge, world-leading video technology, helping you find career happiness and helping your business attract its stars of the future. We are Foy and Jones. This is what we do.
Welcome back, and listen, we're going to set the season up and these episodes are going to flow and they're going to flow, but one of the most important things is recognising what's happening out there. And towards the end of last year, I mentioned at the top of the show, the R word is back in our sectors, and redundancy is a scary word. Being made redundant is an awful place for anyone it affects it. It's happened to members of my family, close members of my family, and if through no fault of your own, your whole world's taken away, you can feel very vulnerable, and we're quite proud that we've launched some real proactive one-to-one career and redundancy support sessions that have made a difference. And I think, Holly, is something you wanted to bring in this podcast and just ask me some questions or just share a little bit about how they're helping people.
Yeah,
so
I think.
So what do you want me to talk to me? How do we cover this?
I think first of all, just let's talk about why you decided to host some redundancy support workshops. Why is that important to you?
I think we saw during the pandemic, we saw global loss of life, we saw the best in humanity, we saw the worst in humanity, we saw some amazing individuals stand up and be counted. There was people that were on the front line all through that pandemic, and there are other people that just really stood up. Some of the guests who've been on the show, Stephen Johnson of KUKA, he stood up and made a difference. David Walcott, who's now in your part of the world, Taylah, he's from the UK to Australia, back to the UK, back to Australia. He should have a home series. He should have his own TV show, really. What the Walcotts did next. That's a theme for an episode, Charlie. Anyway, but individuals like that, David, Stephen, Bart Murphy, people like that within the sector, they stood up and they made a real difference. And we supported that. I was one of David's first saddlers, and we were providing free of charge advice to people who have been made redundant. Sometimes you were just someone for them to shout at on the phone. Sometimes you were someone just for them to let it all out. And you give them, and I'll do it properly for the camera. You take your Foy and Jones hat off, and I'm not talking about it. I'm not talking as a recruitment owner. I'm not talking as a business owner. I'm talking as someone who's there to listen, who's there to help, and who's there to just give some thoughts, feedback, and advice. I got a lot out of that during the pandemic, and we did some real big webinar-based weekly webinars where 30, 40, 50 people will be coming on, they'll be talking, so we're talking to groups collectively. Got lots of different guests involved. Then when we got back to normal and people got back to work, there was less need for that. Towards the end of last year, some big players in our sector, and I don't need to name them because people know who they are, they started making some major cuts, and people were vulnerable again. And I had a landslide of messages, can you help? What can you do? And that's tough. Where do you stick or twist with that? Because I've got a business to run. I've got a commercial angle on what I do. But there's also a duty of care. Some of these people were my ex-clients. Some of these people were friends. Some of these people were real potential, staying on theme, stars of the future. 20-year service, 10-year service. I've never wrote a CV. What on earth can I do? I can't pay my mortgage. I'm frightened about my kids not being able to go to school. When you're dealing with them conversations, the biggest thing I learned was you take people through a process, and that's where the redundancy support sessions were. But the difference this time, Holly, is that I'm doing them on a one-to-one basis. They're delivered virtually or face-to-face. All bar 2 or 3 have been delivered virtually. People can book in directly via Calendly, so there's times and dates to suit them. But by doing them one-to-one, they're more intimate. So people are more open. They share their feelings and they share their fears, and then when you listen, you get them talking about their dreams and what they want to achieve and how they want to move forward. And I think that's the reasoning behind them. It's trying to make a difference, but making my time better for those that are spending the one-to-ones, and that's really where they are, right? You know my style. I get quite interactive. I get quite passionate. We go through the pain. I'm brutally honest at times. But the feedback we're getting, we're making a difference, I think.
And have you noticed in those conversations there's been some kind of key themes come through of where you've noticed the majority of people perhaps need a bit of added support? Yeah,
there's almost a well-trodden path that each conversation follows. I wouldn't say there's a script. I wouldn't say there's a structure, because I wouldn't stick to that, and it does vary depending on people's personalities. Some hover on different angles, but the process itself starts really simple. Where I say to someone, I say to you, Taylah, I say to you, Holly or Charlie, let's talk about the dream job. Let's talk about the future, because if we can get your head in a good place where you're thinking about you and you're thinking about the future, everything that comes next you can influence, you can control positively, you can control negatively. I'm very open. I tell them, that you're going to go on a roller coaster of spectacular highs and low after low after low. Like it or not, potential employers will lie to you. They won't come back when they say they will. They'll blank you. They'll ghost you, which is a new trendy word I've learned, ghosting. I know what that's like. Don't know it from dating circuit, Taylah. I don't know it from that world. But I know it from the job-seeking world. And I would imagine being ghosted by someone who's giving you an interview or being ghosted by a job is probably as bad as being ghosted by someone you're trying to flirt with on a dating site. So people are... True. Thank you, Charlie. So ghosting's a thing. But going back to focusing on what the dream job looks like... this could be the beginning of something special. And if we can get the mindset right and you can help, that's what we do first of all. Then we talk about the key components of job searching, what you need, and you've got kind of like 3 areas you've got to control. You've got to fix you, because if you're not in the right place, nothing will happen. So you've got to fix you. If you're in the right place, 2 tools of the trade that make a real difference. You need to have a CV which you're proud of, and you need to have a LinkedIn profile, boys and girls, because today, every application you do, you're going to be stalked on LinkedIn. You're going to be checked out on LinkedIn. If you're Foyne Jones, we'll go above, because we'll find you. Wherever you are, we will find you, and we will stalk and we will find you. But thinking about that, when you go to sleep at night, is your LinkedIn profile the best interactive representation of you, your career and your potential? So we focus on CV makeovers and we focus on a LinkedIn profile. We then give people advice on taking their first steps in terms of standing out. So how can you get noticed by the person who could offer you your dream job? What tactics and steps can you take to have a job searching tool, an interactive job community, LinkedIn networking community? It's like being in a networking breakfast meeting or evening meeting or a few beers. It's like being in that room every day. So if you've got content out and you're becoming part of someone else's conversation, you begin to get noticed. So we focus on that. It's fixing the components. Fix your mind, know what you want to do next, and have the tools of job seeking ready. So a standout CV and an interactive LinkedIn profile which is working for you. That's really, really important. We're then giving some advice on dipping your toe in the water. It might be a thumbs up or a like on an update for the first time. It might be a cheeky connection request. It might be, actually, I disagree with you, and you put your own comment in, but it's actually getting interactive. It's encouraging people to do that. Then There's probably a more emotional section, a more poignant section where we've been supported by some brilliant businesses. Shout out to James Capel-Abra and Laura Capel-Abra of Stress Matters, because, as I mentioned, those highs and lows affect people in different ways. Men in particular, we don't talk about our mental health, so that's important. I talk about mental health and wellness and well-being and resilience in every redundancy support session. Not because I'm saying there's a problem. I'm saying that you might feel great today, but in 3 weeks' time you might not feel great. So we've been able to guide people towards resilience training. The feedback on that has been absolutely phenomenal. And thank you so much for Stress Matters for offering that. But that's important to be aware that your mental health is going to be damaged by job seeking. It's not going to be improved. It's tough. It's the toughest gig you're going to do. Getting yourself a job is harder than when you're in a job. So we're very open, we're very honest on that. Sometimes the feedback on what your CV looks like is brutal. I'd say my marks out of 10 are probably as tough as anyone can give, but we give guidance and we give support. And then we wrap these sessions up with two big areas. And the two big areas are, if you're going to do anything from this moment in time, whatever you do, make it count. That's really important, making it count. And the last thing is treat it like a project. Allow some time in the morning, some time in the evening, some time in the weekend, and have fun. Because you've got to learn from this. And if you can learn from that process, that's where it helps. And the feedback from it has been frightening. What I didn't expect was that when I launched them in November, I'd be fully booked in December and fully booked in January, and, you know, actually having to be sensible about how many bookings we have. So that's the theme of them. Yeah. People can reach out to Foyne Jones to get booked in. There's a Calendly link, they can do it. But I like to think they're making a difference.
From your perspective then, if you had to describe the impact that you believe they might be having on other people in 3 words, what would you say about it?
Motivation, inspiration, and brutal guidance. Because I think the brutal element of telling people what they don't want to hear, of telling people how their applications are being judged, how their body language is being seen, how they're communicating subconsciously, that's going to have as much impact as anything. Because if you believe your LinkedIn profile is brilliant, it doesn't need any work. If you believe your CV is brilliant, it doesn't need any work. If you believe your head is in exactly the right place and you don't need any more guidance, why are you talking to me?
Yeah.
And that's the reality of it. So in 3 words, it's the health check, which is probably a nicer way of saying brutal feedback. It's a health check, it's guidance, and then it's inspiration. Because the people I meet have got so much to offer, and we're delivering this to CEOs, MDs, graduates, apprentices. There's no agenda.
I think that's nice. We've seen that, haven't we, with people who have been signing up for it.
Yeah.
It is of all levels, and there's not ego to play there. It's I haven't been looking for a job for 20 years, Peter. What do I do? Help me. And that's nice.
It is. And you go back as well, and we start with being very, very honest and very open. This is a real misconception. You know, when people look at a recruitment business like ours, we're a specialist recruiter. We're in niche sectors. We're damn good at what I do. I can say that, Taylah. We're damn good at what I do. Yeah.
I see it.
We see it. But our job is not to find a job for a person. And that's tough to hear sometimes. Our job is to find people for a job. And that's where our income comes from. So sadly, we've got 31, 32 exclusive positions to us at the moment. We only work exclusive. We only work retained. We've got amazing relationships with our clients, which means we're transparent. We tell you the fucking salary. I'm going to swear, Charlie, because I market this, but we show the fucking salary. We tell you the name of the person you're going to work for. We tell you the company details. And we're visually transparent, honestly and open all the way through the process. That's what job seekers want. But then when you move from that and you start looking at the whole job seeking experience, if you don't match one of those positions, there's only so much a recruiter can do for you. You know, yeah, we can say, who do you want to work for? Send us your CV, we'll get you registered, and we can give you passing comments. That's great, but actually, the difference this has made, by actually giving up my time free of charge, taking my recruitment hat off, and talking to people openly and honestly, no agenda, that's making the biggest difference, and that's what I'm proud of, to be fair. That's what I'm most proud of. The feedback we've had, blown me away. You know, people going out their way to publicly praise the sessions. The support we've got in giving them is brilliant, and if we can help one person, they will be a client of the future, a star of the future. So
you've had some real positive success where people have gone on to land jobs quite quickly after sessions too.
Phenomenal. We get people like, followed your guidance on the CV, changed it. It's now gone from 6 pieces of paper to 1 piece of paper. You know my view on that. Anything more than one, I'm not reading. But they're saying, I've never had so many positive responses. I've got a job. I've got an interview. It's confidence building, because actually you feel like your world has ended when you've made redundant.
Yeah.
You feel like you don't count. You feel like you don't matter. You feel like you've let yourself down, your family down, your friends down. And you haven't, because it's not your fault. And that's the biggest message, is to get people back on the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. I think moving that on a step, yes, it's really important that job seekers are pitching themselves in the right way, that they have a toolkit behind them, a strong CV, a way of standing out in the market, and a LinkedIn profile that's working. That's a double-edged sword, isn't it? It's not just about job seekers being attractive. There's a part to play for employers there as well.
Yeah, there is. There is, and I think we come on to that. The employers at the moment, certainly within our sector, there's got to be some wake-up calls out there. Flexible working, remote working, hybrid working, creative hours, they're available at times, but they're not available all the time. So we are missing out as an industry. We're missing out on a sector, in a sector, as some of the very best talent. We really are. You see, I did a post last week, or this week actually, about the 4-day week. The results from the 4-day week were phenomenal. I don't know any business in my sector that's working a 4-day week, and people say we can't. These are our trading hours. These are our open hours. Well, you can.
Yeah. Create
a shift pattern. Bring new bodies in. If you want the younger generation, you need to be offering the chance to work remotely. You need to be offering the chance to work from home. You need to be creative with your hours. You need to get your head around that they might not want to come and work in a suit. They might have a piercing. They might have a different colour hair. But these people are talented. And if we're not opening the world to them, they're actually your customers of the future. Because most of our clients, they sell stuff. They make stuff. They sell it. They merchandise it. They market it. It goes through a merchant. Goes through specification. It's beautiful. It's high end. It's luxury, or it's trade, or it's underground. But those products are going to be installed, bought, enjoyed by someone. People like me, I'm 48 years young. We're on an exit plan. Younger generation are looking for something different, so we've got to bring them in. So employers, duty of care, do the right thing, and that's what I think. No employer has got a God-given right that people should work for them. So we don't want to hear examples of employers treating interviews like an episode of Dragon's Den or The Apprentice, right? Because that's not real world. Real world is being nice, being humble, being open, bringing the best out in people. There's too many horror stories out there, and the biggest complaint we get right now, and this is the message about employers doing the right thing, is actually go back to people. Because if someone's been bothered to apply for a job, your marketing's worked. So your marketing's worked, because wherever you put that position, they've got in touch with you. If you're blanking them, how would you feel? How would you feel? And if you're blanking people that apply, or you're not considering them because their CV's not 100% against 100% of what you're looking for, and you're not looking beyond the CV, oh my God, you're missing a trick, because so many people have got potential medium and long term, and they're not seeing that. So doing the right thing is really important. But can I talk about something else in terms of doing the right thing? So I want to do it. It's relevant to the positions we've been advertising, Holly. So we've had 2 positions going, haven't we? What were they? We've got a
recruitment consultant and a recruitment resourcer.
Consultant and resourcer. So we've had how many applications we were looking at this morning?
Yeah, over 100.
Over 100 applications.
Which is news to me.
Yeah. So we're going to come on to you, Taylah.
Yeah.
You're going to get
Feeling
brought in.
extra
You're
special this
going to get
morning.
brought into this, because we're going to bring you in. Interestingly, out of 100 plus applications, there's only 3 that stood out.
Yeah.
Maybe 4. One stood out because she's here now, and we could share her job seeking experience.
Absolutely.
But we'll get you to do that. The others that have stood out have been because they've done something different. So 95% of those applications to us, people have done just enough. They've hit apply on the job board. They've hit application. And we've got something come through. 2 or 3, a couple of them, they've rung and they've asked to talk to me. They've emailed me directly. They've messaged me on LinkedIn. All of a sudden, boom. What what you did, Taylor, is you presented yourself in a way which was better than probably 99% of the others.
I tried.
But where you also caught my attention, Holly's attention, was like you were on it. You know, we replied and you were bang, straight back to us, bang, text back, and that enthusiasm. That's probably one of the reasons why you're sitting here. But it must be. I mean, to talk about that. So the message I'm giving there to job seekers is, if 90% of people are going to follow the boring traditional route to try and get a job, they're trying to do just enough. If you do that little bit more, oh my God, you've got a chance of being noticed. And I'm talking about a specialist recruitment business in a funky studio office in Denton Island, New Haven, Holly. Denton Island, New Haven, not New Haven Marina.
Not New Haven Marina, that was a different place.
People keep turning up, keep turning up by the boats, and they're going, Foyne Jones is in here. So we've got to move that. And you've got to think about how you can stand out. And that's another message for stars of the future. If 10 people are going to apply for a job that way, be the 11th who's doing it a different way. But what challenges did you find, Taylor, searching for a job in the good old United Kingdom?
Well, I mean, I've just recently got back. I've been back a month after being deported at the start of last year.
There you go, boys and girls.
So I came back.
The Taylah Jenkins story. I came on a holiday visa. I met a man. I fell in love. They slung me out. I came back. I've got a new job.
This is my third time returning to the UK. So, yeah, when I returned just as the pandemic hit, I couldn't work here legally, so I had to begin teaching English online and just, to be honest, did cash jobs. And then coming back here, being able to work legally, I was like, right, I can do anything. And working with children, I was kind of done with that. So I thought, apply for all these different jobs, and I thought, recruitment resourcer. I like to talk, so we'll go for that one. And I think I applied the day you put the ad out, and I think I heard back that day or the next day, and I was like, right, I said to myself, I'm going to get this job, and I did, and here I am.
So there's a mindset thing there, isn't there?
Did you apply for other jobs?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I literally, when I saw that advert, I thought, I just had this feeling. I was like, I'm going to get this job.
It was the Spaniels that did it.
Was it?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, there's dogs.
There's coffee.
Yeah.
And, like, the words funky studio. I was like, this seems like a happy...
What do you think about Funky Studio?
I love it. Do you know what?
Charlie's a fan, isn't he, Charlie?
Yeah, I like it. I like the trip out.
Charlie hangs out. He hangs out.
Yeah, it's just, it's a nice space, and I think that's what a lot of... I mean, I've never had a job like this before. I've worked where I've had a set uniform, and whether, like, other than working in pubs and stuff, but, like, I've been, you got to be there at a certain time. You get a set lunch break. It's half an hour, because...
I remember us talking to your first couple of days. You were like, when's my lunch?
Yeah,
I was like, whenever you
it's
want.
so different.
Well, how long is it? Well,
So
however
as long
long
as
you
you
want.
want.
And she was like, what?
I know. Like, if I want working with children, you're on a ratio.
She says, well, I've got to... I had a go at her, actually, because she said I had to rush because I was late to the Elton John tribute. I said, what do you mean you were late? Just leave. Like, you haven't got to... So she said, well, what about holidays? I said, well, just take them. Like, because we trust you, and that's something we have to believe in, because we're a small business, and, we have to have the right fit of people, and we have to treat you like grown-ups, because it is busy, and recruitment's a tough gig. Never forget that. It's not all podcasts and meeting celebrities like Charlie. There's
cool job now.
There's an element to it as well. Taylor, I think you're going to be absolutely... Well, Holly knows this anyway. We talk about you a lot. We think you're going to be fantastically successful.
Thanks. Well, she did look at the second part of my CV. So.
Yeah, I was in on the first. I was in on the first part. But welcome to Team Foyne Jones, and thank you for sharing that. That was honest, and we love a bit of honesty. And that's the Taylah Jenkins story, and I think it's just the beginning of Foyne Jones. But Charlie, we mentioned this at the top of the show. I know we're tight for time in this episode, but a few things have changed since we were last in the studio. I always talk about my family. So my eldest son Harry, he set up his own business. He's doing fantastically well, and people who follow me on LinkedIn will know that we had a proud family moment last November when Henry Joseph Jones proudly got his maroon beret as part of the British Parachute Regiment. He passed the grueling, the most toughest selection outside of Special Forces. He's part of the Parachute Regiment. He's with 2 Para. He's got a new home with a battalion in Colchester, and life has changed. But the biggest thing in all of that, Charlie, is football, because it's got to be. Who'd have thought Fulham would be smashing it in the Premier League? We're not just. Charlie said to me at the start, he said, "Where do you reckon you'll be?" I went, "Anywhere above fourth bottom, anywhere above the relegation zone. Let's just hold on. We are punching well above our weight."
Yeah, it's going pretty well.
I've got a
isn't
new
it?
song for you.
Have you?
I've got a new song, yeah,
Come on
because
then,
I want
let's
to give you a
hear it.
little player song, really. This is for our unsung hero, right? People think I'm going to talk about Mitro, they think I'm talking about João Paulinho, they think I'm going to talk about will.i.am. I'm going to talk about our right back, Kenny Teti. You ready?
Yeah,
And he goes like this, he goes, Kenny Teti, baby! Kenny Teti, whoa! We got a thing, right? It's anything goes wrong in the house, Kenny will deal with it. Kenny Teti deal with it. He just deals with it, mate. No one beats him. It's been a great. You ready for it, Holly? Kenny Teti, baby. No, you prefer
I'm
Mitro.
off. I'm off.
You prefer Mitro's on fire.
I do. Mitro will always have my heart, I think.
Yeah.
Mitro doesn't play now, and I get really sad when he doesn't
Mitro
get
got a
out.
hamstring injury. Holly's got a slight betting problem. We won't say that too public in case the family's listening. But she has a little football bet, and she was on Mitro. So when Mitro was dropped, I was texting her from the pub going, "You better catch out. Mitro's not playing."
Yeah.
But there we go. Taylor, obviously you're going to learn that Fulham will be your second team. But Charlie, Arsenal, will they do it? Let's go on record now. Will you do it?
I'm not going on record, mate. I'm going to go on record and say that we'll carry on trying to do the best that we can every game, every day. It's like all things in life, man. You just got to carry on doing the best that you can and hope for the best. I think our target was to get top 4. Looks like that's going to happen. Something would have to go really wrong now for us to miss that. So I'm feeling chuffed to bits.
That's like with Fulham, mate. 34 points keep you up. We got 38. So
exactly.
I'm living the dream.
Yeah, exactly.
But what I would say, I think best team this season so far, Arsenal.
Yeah.
When it mattered against Man City, I thought Man City beat you up the other night.
Yeah.
But you bounced back better.
Yeah,
and you
it's
bounced
true.
back spectacularly, and that's what it's all about.
This is the thing, man. Like it's not gonna be a smooth ride. That's life, that's the journey, that's football. Like, it's just not going to be plain sailing weather all the time. And what we need to do is not get upset because we didn't beat one of the best teams in the world. We need to just keep our heads, keep composed, and carry on playing well.
Arsenal play at Craven Cottage?
Oh my God! I've been saying that I want to go to the cottage for ages,
It's
for the
coming
last
up, isn't it?
year,
It's
because I
coming
love
up.
Fulham since I've started working with you guys. My love for the club, it's infectious, man. But I can't. I don't know if I could.
I think
mate, I would love to go for another game, maybe, if you'd be so kind. But I think maybe
could do
not
the
this
emotion.
particular. I don't think I could hack it.
Poor Jack, bless you, Jack the lad. He came to the Liverpool game sitting with us, and he took some stick.
Yeah, and I don't think I want to be in that position.
No,
God love
all
him.
right, mate. The offer's there, but with the and the other thing I've got to say for all my listeners, because this is very, very special. This season I've watched us beat Chelsea for the second time in my life, so
that made me
it
very happy.
It doesn't happen often, but we nicked 4 points, mate. And if you look at the Football League, they're looking up at us. So look, what a great episode. We're going to wrap things up now.
Charlie, you spoke a lot there about football and resilience and keeping positive. Let's apply that back to some of the stuff in this. Taylor, if you had to give 3 pieces of advice to someone out there right now looking for a job, having been there yourself fairly recently, what 3 bits of advice would you give?
You've got to put the effort in, I think. You've really got to want something. And if you want it that much, then you will get what you want. You got to have fun. And try new things, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
Definitely.
Nice.
Good advice, Taylor.
Lovely
Thank you
advice.
so
Great
much.
advice.
You playing, Holly?
Oh, do I need to? I haven't been a job seeker for so long. I feel like I'm out of place. I talk to them a lot.
Yeah.
My advice to the people that I talk to would very much be try and stand out, try and make a difference, whether that's making direct contact where you can, not just passively accepting that your application's going to be seen, going above and beyond and reaching out in any way. We were saying some of the other people that have stood out to us have been the people that have picked the phone up. That makes a big difference.
Honestly, if everyone's doing it that way and hoping something would happen, someone who takes a little bit of ownership and make something happen, you notice them instantly.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
Well, I mean, how about you, Pete? Three pieces of advice that you would give.
Funny
to a job
enough, I'm
seeker.
prepared for this question because it's a big theme for the episodes. It's a big theme for the series, inspiring our stars of the future. So, this I think has come out. It's come out of the redundancy support, and it's come out of my personality and everything I believe in really is that. Let's say I'm in the middle of Craven Cottage, Charlie. I'm on the halfway line. I'm talking to the Johnny Haynes stand because I don't like the new Riverside stand. It's all too nice for me. I'm talking to my people in the cheap old stand. But the advice I'd give, there's 3 components to it. Number 1 would be to dream big, because if you believe and you dream and you want something enough, you can achieve it. So dream big, go for that job that you think you're underqualified for. Go for something that you might not get, because you never know. You never know. So dream big. To help you, my advice number 2 would be to make sure that your CV and your LinkedIn profile is a 10 out of 10 representation of you and your family. Because if you're dreaming big and you've got the best possible CV and it makes you feel special when you give it to someone and you're proud of it, and your LinkedIn profile is working for you while you're asleep at night, you're constantly networking, constantly engaging, you're going to be in such a better place than other job seekers. And the final word of advice, and this is probably the most powerful, is it's all about you. It's not about me. It's not about these people in the studio. It's about you. And if you put your heart and soul into it and you mean it, you can be a star of the future. So I'll summarise. Number 1, I want you to dream big. Number 2, I want your CV and your LinkedIn profile to be the best representation of you as it could ever be. And finally, it's about you. So go out there, do something different, believe, and make it happen. And if I could say anything else, do it with a smile on your face and have some fun. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, before we go, all together, Kenny Tetty, baby! Kenny Tetty, whoa! That was the first episode on how we're going to be inspiring the stars of the future. It's not going to be all about me and Foyne Jones. We have got some amazing guests joining us. Charlie, it's been emotional to get back in the studio. Thank you so much for listening. That's episode 1 of season 6 of The Foyne Jones Show.